rehabilitated, and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
They're going to kill us. Ultimately, that's what they want to. Do. I know that's a sobering thing to start with, but I want you to understand the enemy that we're up against in this country with the radical left. They want to kill us. They want to put Trump in jail for fake charges before he gets an opportunity to put them, and when I say them, I'm talking about the administrative state, in jail for real charges. They want to put us in concentration camps. What we learned from the third Trump indictment yesterday is that the DOJ intends for Biden to run as president in 2024, and they intend to drag him across the finish line. And I don't believe it'll be Kamala Harris. I believe the administrative state will actually be running the United States of America. That's what they told us yesterday as well. They told us that free speech is no longer an option in the United States, so Christians beware. They also told us that Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin are going to make Trump a felon, or they're going to make Trump a felon so that he can't be on the ballot. All that and more in this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Please stay tuned for some quick program messaging. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Please subscribe wherever you go to get your podcasts. We are your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. And I'm going to bring you the truth, and I'm going to bring you the truth hard today. I woke up with a thought and I shared it with my wife, and it's pretty sobering, but I just want to tell you where we are. I'm not going to blow smoke up your butt. This isn't going to be a cheerleading show for any candidate. I just want to tell you where we are in the United States. I started to think in my mind, God, are we witnessing the end of America? Are we witnessing the end of times? I literally asked myself that question. A bunch of things came to mind. This sobering thought came to my mind that they're going to kill us. And when I say they, I mean the left. I mean, they want to kill us. Everything from climate change and all this kind of stuff, all the regulations that they're putting in place to try to depopulate the earth, whether it's the jab, whether, again, it's climate change regulation, trying to shut down fertilizer plants or make fertilizer unaffordable so that people can no longer afford to grow food across or around the globe. It's insane what the left is attempting to do, but we're seeing it transpire right here in the United States. And the truth of the matter is, what's happening to Trump, it is happening to us as well. Actually, it's already happened to some people. We know the J6 protesters are in jail. Not too many people talk about them, but what they're doing is they're doing to Trump what they've already done to regular citizens. It's almost as if they've done it backwards. But the DOJ and the FBI, they were absolutely corrupt. We know about this just on the heels of the Devin Archer testimony, where we learned several things that and let me make sure that I get this right for you. Devin Archer said that Biden repeatedly spoke to Hunter Biden's business partners to sell the brand. I mean, he mentioned at least 20 times where he was a part of it, where Joe Biden was brought in to sell the brand. He was the big guy. Hunter Biden called him my guy. Specifically, you have Democrats that are trying to defend this nonsense, but it's absolute nonsense. That was a huge story. That was a damning and devastating story, because Joe Biden had been lying for years, saying that he didn't play a part in Hunter Biden's business practices. He didn't talk to Hunter Biden about business. Now we know not only did he talk to him, but he was the figurehead. He was the big guy that would show up at a moment's notice when Hunter Biden needed him, Devin Archer and the like, when they needed him to appear, so that his business partners or the people that he was doing business with in other countries would know that Joe Biden was there on the ready and could be gotten in a moment's notice. That's how they would sell the brand. Nothing more than foreign, than corruption, just peddling influence. That's all it was. So that was one of the things that we learned yesterday. We also learned that Devin Archer's account contradicts Biden's claim to have no knowledge of Hunter Biden's business dealings, which I mentioned. Hunter Biden and the Burisma executives called D.C. to get the Ukrainian prosecutor fired. We learned that they made all types of money. Hunter Biden did from the Russian lady, I forget her name, the wife of the Russian mayor out there. But that's what we learned. And so what did the DOJ do? Well, they decided to indict Trump a third time. And again, this is so much bigger than Trump. I know many of you listening to this are like, hey, this means we have to get Trump in. And I'm not saying it doesn't mean that, because I think we do need to fight for his presidency or his candidacy. I think the same is true for anyone that's willing to get rid of the deep state. That has to be part of it. I think Trump needs to come out and say, this is exactly what I'm going to do. If I'm elected, I'm going to get rid of I'm going to just totally wipe out the DOJ. I'm going to totally wipe out the FBI. I think the same needs to be true of DeSantis and anyone that is getting in the race. Anyone that isn't willing to do that, then they shouldn't be a part of the process. Now, I know some of you listening will say only Trump. And that's fine. I think you should fight for Trump like nobody's business. But I want to talk to you about the bigger issue that's at stake. And that is, and I thought about titling the podcast this: we are the communist states of America. We are no longer the United States of America. The left has completely divided us. They've completely divided us. They've used the Saul Alinsky tactics, and they've worked beautifully against us. I'm going to play some video for you of Jack Smith. I want you to brace yourself. I can't stand this little weak-sounding punk, but we need to play it for the sake of context. Also, I'm going to play some video for you of some of the election deniers on the Democrat side. I also have a list in front of me of over 80, I believe it is, election deniers, all on the Democrat side. I'll go through some of that list, but I wanted to put this show into perspective for you. I wanted to put it into context for you. And the left, if they have their choice, they will kill us. They will put us in concentration camps. I'm going to reiterate what I said at the opening of the show. And hopefully Gabe will grab that later, the very beginning, the first minute. And I want to use that as a short on YouTube and Rumble. And I'm going to ask you guys to share that so that people come back to this show. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. All right. You can find us there: Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Please, if you're on YouTube and Rumble, I am asking you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to subscribe to our Rumble channel if you prefer Rumble, or if you like them both, subscribe, rate, and review so that we can move up the charts. If you're on social media, I'm on all things social media at The Carl Jackson Show. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Truth Social. I'm on Getter as well. So you can find me on those avenues. Also, I want to remind you that today's show is brought to you by MyPillow. Mike Lindell at MyPillow.com. Guys, we need fighters that are willing to fight to restore America. And I'm of the opinion that America has collapsed. We're at a point where we have to rebuild it. But I'm here to tell you the left wants to kill us. They want to absolutely destroy us. So we need fighters like Mike Lindell that are in the fight at MyPillow.com. Right now, he's got a special running for those of you that want to try to get a good night's sleep, because you're going to need it if you're going to be sustained for the fight that we're up against the radical left and the commies that have taken over our government. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But Mike Lindell is providing American jobs, American manufacturing. And right now, they've got this special for the MyPillow, queen size MyPillow, on sale for only $19.98. Typically sells for $69.98. If you want a king size, $29.98. All of those products all of his products come with a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. As a matter of fact, virtually everything on the site is available for deep discounts right now. So if you want to do early Christmas shopping, birthday shopping, enjoy the last year of freedom in the United States of America, please go to mypillow.com. Click on the radio podcast square and enter my name, Carl. I would be so humbled. It would definitely help us out on this podcast. We certainly would appreciate that. Or if you will give them a call, 800-858-0263, 800-858-0263. I'm going to reiterate what the left is trying to do to us. I don't want you to take the enemy lightly. And I don't use that word to be hyperbolic. I don't use that word to be a provocateur. We have leftists that are enemies of the United States of America. We have leftists that are enemies of the state. And again, I just want to reiterate what I said at the beginning of the program, because a lot of people are making this very complicated. And they're saying, listen, they're making the issue solely about Trump. And it is, in this sense, Trump is the guy that the left feels they need to take down. But I don't think it's as complicated as people think. Yes, they are concerned that Trump wins the election. I don't think it's just about policy. I don't think it's just about policy. You know why I can say that? Because so many people, Americans, are dumbed down to policy. See, all of us exist in a bubble. Those of us that pay attention to politics right now, we're insular, we're activists. We pay attention to politics all the time. But there's 90% of Americans that will still say that they're probably undecided. There's going to be 40 to 45% that'll vote for Joe Biden, even if their bank account shows a zero in it. They'll vote for him anyway, just because they consider it a moral victory to have a defeat against Trump or whoever is the nominee. But at this point, it is likely going to be Donald Trump. And so they want a moral victory. And it's hard for us to comprehend that. But they've been sold on the issue of morals, not on policy. They believe to vote for Republicans, to vote for the right, to vote for Donald Trump is absolutely immoral. And many people on the right don't seem to get that. And that's why I tell you every time, if we're going to win, we're going to have to work extremely hard to win in 2024, because it is an uphill battle. I do think we can win, but it is an uphill battle. But I want to tell you what the left is trying to do. Again, they want to jail Trump for these fake crimes before he jails them for the real crimes. I think that's their biggest concern. I don't think it's policy, because they are ramming stuff down our throat. There's a headline today. Look at the light bulbs that have been made, the incandescent light bulbs. You can't get them. Joe Biden is trying to make it where we have to buy the stoves that he wants, the dryers that he wants, or the administrative state is. They are hustling to change things at breakneck speed. You can only own electrical vehicles. They are changing stuff at breakneck speed. They're not so much concerned about policy because they figure they don't have to worry about their voters. They're going to do what they want to do anyway, regardless of their voters and regardless of what you have to say. So they figure, let's go ahead and jail Trump now. That's why they're rushing to get him into court now. These other trials, the other two indictments, would elongate the trials for too long. They didn't want to take that chance. So Jack Smith comes right back at it. He distracts from the Devin Archer bombshell testimony now a couple of days ago. And then they say, you know what, here's what we can do to Trump. And by the way, we've already done it to the peons. So you don't have to worry or make the statement if they do it to Trump, they can do it to you too. They've already done it to you too, because they've done it to the J6 protesters. And now they're saying, we'll take out your figurehead. But the reason why we want to take out your figurehead, yeah, in part it's policy, but it's not just policy. We're crooked as all get out. And we do believe that he might exact justice on us. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jail him before he can jail us, because we've got our kids to take care of. We want to put our kids through college so they can continue to be brainwashed. We want to make sure that we live high on the hog, nice homes, nice cars, living a nice life, getting to travel in private jets. But we don't want that to be afforded to you. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to round us up and put us in concentration camps. Where do you think this is leading? They want to kill us. They would kill us. They want us to be totally bowed down to the state. That's what they want to do. And again, I want to reiterate this. Here's also what they want to do. What the third indictment of Trump told me yesterday is that they intend to run with Biden. I've been saying that it's going to get so bad for Biden, and it still could, that they're going to have to bring Gavin Newsom in to take his place. Now, I was contending that they would actually do it after he won the nomination or officially got the nomination, and then they would hand over the delegates to Gavin Newsom. But at least for now, what that third indictment told me is that they're sticking with Joe Biden, the DOJ, the deep state is, and they've decided that what they're going to do, because they're corrupt. Remember, they don't want to go to jail. They're going to drag Joe Biden across the finish line. And then it's not going to be Kamala Harris running the United States of America. It's going to be the deep state or the administrative state, however you want to call it. Now, she may be a figurehead. Gavin Newsom may be a figurehead. But what they told us yesterday is the administrative state is in charge. The deep state is in charge. Free speech is no longer an option. That's another issue that we learned yesterday. Free speech is no longer an option in the United States of America under Democratic control or under the Democratic Communist Party's control. That is not going to be an issue. You are going to shut up. You're going to bow down to the state, or we're going to go after you. There's headlines in today's news that talks about, or that just gives us, I got to pull this stuff up, that gives us a glimpse into what the left wants to do. They're not being secretive about this. They're wide open. They're wide open about all of this stuff that they want to do to fundamentally transform America. And they've been telling us the whole time exactly what they wanted to do. And now they're just doing it. They look at this. They looked at the opportunity when we locked down the United States under COVID. They looked at it as an opportunity to go. All right. And they figured they had a wild man, so to speak, in the White House with Trump. They didn't want to take any chances. Let's take advantage of his kind heart. All right. They did just that. He shuts things down. The communists look at that as a way to go and start implementing their policies. And they've run with it ever since. They, in my opinion, rigged the elections. And now they're making it so where they indict Trump for a third time, saying he's obstructed justice. As a matter of fact, let me just read this. Here are the indictments, the 4 counts of indictments, hat tip to Breitbart. 1 on conspiracy. This is what they're indicting him for now, Trump. He was indicted on 4 counts, 1 on conspiracy to defraud the U.S., all right, 1 on conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, 1 of obstruction and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and 1 of conspiracy against rights. 2 of them sound the same. So 1 on conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding and 1 of obstruction and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding and 1 conspiracy against rights. So it's not against the law to say, hey, listen, I believe the election was stolen from me. They're trying to say that he did something to try to officially stop the proceedings in and of itself. But I don't know where they get that. When you have a man giving a speech when he says, go peacefully protest, basically, I'm paraphrasing, and make your voices heard. The indictment also declares, and I quote, despite having lost, the defendant was determined to stay in power. So for more than 2 months following Election Day on November 30th, 2020, the defendant spread lies that there had been outcome determined a fraud in the election, that he actually won. They say these claims were false, and the defendant knew they were false. Now, there were plenty of people telling Trump around him that, listen, he had lost, but he didn't believe that. And so how do you prove that? There are also several unnamed, unindicted co-conspirators, according to Breitbart. Apparently, there's 6. I've seen some names bantered about on social media. I cannot confirm that, so I will not say the names. But apparently, there are 4 attorneys, DOJ official, and a political consultant who worked on Trump's strategy to challenge the result. And so that's what's happening. Also, let me share with you something else that's happening. Again, free speech is no longer an option. They're going to be coming for Christians. I want you to understand that. They're going to be coming for people of faith. So please, please, please keep that in mind. Understand what they're doing. Here's what we've been doing. Again, we exist in this bubble. You have to wake up the people that don't pay attention to politics because they have no idea what's going on. Your neighbors have no idea what's going on. When you have conversations with them, and it can't be, I'm sorry, guys, it can't be vote for DeSantis. It can't be, or just vote for DeSantis or vote for Trump. They don't feel the way that you do because they don't see America in the same state that you see it as, because they're not getting the news in the same way. When they see this Jack Smith video that we're about to show you in just a second here, when they see this Jack Smith video, they think the guy is completely legit. They do not know that this is a bunch of BS. And so they think that we're crazy. They think that we're dangerous, because they're not getting the same news. If they tend to vote left or Democrat, even the news that they're getting on their phones is directed to stuff that they would typically indulge in. News material, cultural commentary, whatever it may be. They're not getting the same news that you're getting, and they're not searching for it. They assume that everything that comes on their phone is true. I just want to read you some of the headlines because I want you to understand the dire straits that we're in. And again, this is a grown-up conversation. I'm just being real with you. I'm being sober with you because I don't think a lot of people are doing it, even on the conservative side. And here's another issue that we have to consider. Are you ready for this? I want you to brace yourself. I didn't believe this at first. I didn't think they would actually try to jail Trump. I thought they would just try to beat him up. And you've heard me say this. They would try to beat him up, take down his polling numbers, his favorable versus unfavorable numbers. But at this point, I think they're desperate. And they're like, crap, that's not working. His poll numbers are getting better. We need to do something else. Otherwise, we're going to end up in jail. So let's put him in jail. And, Julie Kelly has been warning about this stuff for a year. And I thought, and I read Julie Kelly and I love Julie Kelly. But I'm like, I don't know, Julie. I don't know. She was right. She was right. Consider this. If Trump is a felon, Arizona, you got an Arizona governor now, and that's a liberal. All right. Kerry Lake didn't win. Pennsylvania, got a big liberal there. Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Wisconsin, what's that guy's name? Evers. What if they say these are swing states that we need to win? What if they say, oh, no. Trump is a convicted felon now. He doesn't go on the ballot. Can I just have can I have a real conversation, an adult conversation with you? That's what they're trying to do. I wasn't convinced before, but I'm convinced now. They absolutely want Donald Trump in jail because they don't want to go to jail. It's not just about policy. They are corrupt. They are evil. They will kill. They will steal. They will lie. They will destroy. Joe Biden would use his crackhead son to enrich himself. Just understand who we're dealing with. Listen to this headline. Hunter Biden admits Chinese tycoon only liked him for his last name. This is who we're dealing with. NYPD plan to solve gun violence does not include additional law enforcement officers. These are useful idiots. I just want to read you some of the headlines. Parental Group releases report showing China sinking $17 million into U.S. public schools. All right, K through 12 education in the United States of America, brought to you by the Chinese Communist Party, in part, in some regions where they're at and near military bases. Biden's incandescent light bulb ban takes effect. We're dealing with communists. I'm reading you these headlines because we're dealing with communists. U.S. credit rating lowered by Fitch Ratings, despite the fact that we have an administration that says the economy is going swimmingly. And they expect you to believe it because they say it all the time. I want you to see these headlines differently. Nigel Farage being debanked is the left telling us to get in line or get our accounts frozen. You guys might not know this, but 2 British executives have lost their jobs, and others may follow in an uproar over politicized decision to close customer accounts. The mess engulfing Coates and Company started in late June when Nigel Farage at the exclusive private bank was closing his accounts. Mr. Farage is a prominent politician on the British right, having been the prime mover behind the 2016 Brexit referendum. They didn't like his thought process, his beliefs, so they just shut his banks down. You don't think they'll do that here with ESG? Man, these people want to kill you. They want to destroy you. Listen to this. California attempts to silence Stanford professors who want to discuss impact of COVID policies on education. All right. So if you're a professor, you want to discuss the impact of COVID policies on education. No, shut up. Shut up. The California Department of Education has threatened to sue 2 prominent Stanford University education professors to prevent them from testifying in a lawsuit against the department. Actions the American Civil Liberties Union of Southern California caused an attempt to muzzle them. I'm shocked to hear that from the ACLU because they've pretty much turned commie. Listen to this one. Over 100 universities still require vaccine mandates for students. Is there any doubt who we're dealing with? Is there any doubt who we're dealing with today? All right, let's roll these videos. This is Jack Smith, and then I'll play a couple of other quick videos for you, and I want to close this thing out. But guys, I tell you this, I want to be real with you. If no one else is real with you out there, I want to be completely real with you. You may not like what I have to say, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not going to pretend like, listen, Trump is the answer or DeSantis is the answer. I'm telling you, we're living in a post-constitutional America, and I think it's even worse than that. I think we're living in a post-American America, meaning that the American spirit is overwhelmingly dead, except for a handful of people within the United States of America. It's crazy. Let's roll the video. This is Special Counsel Jack Smith with his bogus charges against Trump. So that he can jail Trump. Biden can jail Trump before Trump gets to jail them. Let's roll the video, please, Gabe. This is from the Washington Post.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone to read it in full. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. The men and women of law enforcement who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are heroes. They are patriots and they are the very best of us. They did not just defend a building or the people sheltering in it. They put their lives on the line to defend who we are as a country and as a people. They defended the very institutions and principles that define the United States. Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment, and our investigation of other individuals continues. In this case, my office will seek a speedy trial so that our evidence can be tested in court and judged by a jury of citizens. In the meantime, I must emphasize that the indictment is only an allegation and that the defendant must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. I would like to thank the members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation who are working on this investigation with my office, as well as the many career prosecutors and law enforcement agents from around the country who have worked on previous January 6th investigations. These women and men are public servants of the very highest order, and it is a privilege to work alongside them. Thank you.
All right, that was Special Counsel Jack Smith, and again, he is going for a speedy trial because they want to try to put Trump in jail, or at least convict him before he gets the chance to jail them. I believe that is the goal. This is the third indictment. Again, the first was in Manhattan, had Tip Breitbart in April on state charges relating to payments to former porn star Stormy Daniels. The second occurred in Miami in June on federal charges relating to the White House documents. Third is now in Washington on January 6th, and the judge that would be presiding over that hearing is a judge by the name of Tanya S. I believe it's called Chutkan, Chutkan. I hate saying that she's an appointee of Barack Obama or Trump because that shouldn't matter, but in this case, it definitely does. This lady has been extremely nasty when it comes to J6 protesters. She has shown little to no mercy whatsoever, and so this is why Jack Smith wanted this case in Washington to convict Donald Trump. And then if they can convict him, then what they'll do is wipe his name off of ballots in some of these blue states that we need to win the election. That's what they intend to do. I'm just being real with you. You take it however you want. You can yell at me. You can whine, be mad like a baby. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you what these fools are going to do. And I'm telling you what this is going to lead to. This is going to lead to us. I don't say this to be hyperbolic. The only place that this can lead is them silencing us, even to the point of death, even to the point of killing us. That's what communist states do. That's what they do. So I don't know what the next year is going to hold. I thought I did. I don't know what it's going to hold. I know we have to fight like hell to restore freedom. I know we have to fight like hell to try to win elections in 2024. I believe that matters. I believe that is our hope to some extent. But I just want to be real with you about the fight that we're up against. Here's Trump lawyers on a montage of Democrats that objected to the 2016 election. Let's let it roll here, Gabe. We won't play this entire video. But this is from, I'm not sure who this is. Oh, this is from The Hill. All right, let's roll it, Gabe.
Numerous other candidates for president have used many of the same processes to pursue their own election challenges. As recently as 2016, the Clinton campaign brought multiple post-election court cases, demanded recounts, and ridiculously declared the election stolen by Russia. Many Democrats even attempted to persuade the Electoral College delegates to overturn the 2016 results. House Manager Raskin objected to the certification of President Trump's victory 4 years ago, along with many of his colleagues. You'll remember it was Joe Biden who had to gavel them down.
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified.
I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin, which should not be legally certified.
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia on the grounds that the electoral votes were not.
There's no debate.
And I object to the certificate from the state of North Carolina.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina. I object.
I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama. The electors were not lawfully certified.
Is it signed by a senator?
Not as of yet, Mr. President.
In that case, the objection cannot be entertained. The objection cannot be entertained.
Counting
Debate is not in order.
Ballot. Even with the
There is
malfunction,
no
87
debate in
voting
order. Is
machines
it
that
signed by a
counting
senator?
African-American
There is
Right
no
back
debate.
and-
There is no
Okay, and there you saw Maxine Waters trying to do exactly what Donald Trump attempted to do and his team attempted to do on January 6th of 2021, getting one senator to try to join in and rejecting I forget exactly the exact process. You basically reject the electoral college numbers or votes or something like that, kicks it back to the states, something to that effect. I forget the exact argument, to be honest with you, but you see her doing exactly what they're trying to claim Trump did or what Trump did do. And you had at the time, I think it was Senators Ted Cruz and Senators Josh Hawley that stood up for Trump and said something was completely dubious about the 2020 election. So they had two senators at the time that stood up against it. But anyway, that's what it is. That is a montage of Democrats objecting to it. I've got a list of over 80. Hillary Clinton denied the results of the 2000 and 2016 presidential elections, believed they were legitimate questions regarding the integrity of the 2004 presidential election, and said that Stacey Abrams would have won the 2018 Georgia gubernatorial election against Governor Brian Kemp if it had been fair. Joe Biden himself has previously claimed that Al Gore won the 2017 presidential election and agreed that Trump was an illegitimate president. Vice President Kamala Harris previously agreed that Trump was an illegitimate president and claimed that without voter suppression, Abrams would have won the 2018 Georgia gubernatorial election and Andrew Gillum would have won the Florida gubernatorial election. So she believes that even Ron DeSantis, as governor of Florida, is illegitimate. Former President Bill Clinton claimed that Gore won the 2000 election. Jimmy Carter claimed that Gore was the real winner of 2000 election and that Trump lost the 2016 presidential election. Former President Barack Obama, when he was an Illinois senator, said that not every vote was counted in the 2000 election. John Kerry, Biden's special presidential envoy for climate, claimed voters were denied their right to vote in the 2014 presidential election, and reportedly told NYU professor Mark Crispin Miller that he believed the election was stolen. Kerry's wife, Teresa Hines Kerry, also said the 2014 presidential election could have been stolen. I can go on and on and on. And the argument would be they're a bunch of hypocrites. No, they're a bunch of authoritarians. They're telling you that they can do this and you can't. They can stand up for free speech or they can invoke their free speech rights, so to speak, but you can't. You better sit down. You better shut up. You better know your place. That's exactly what they're telling us. Guys, understand what we're up against. We're not up against a Democrat party. We're up against communists that look like Americans, that look like people we used to have conversations with, that will put a bullet in your freaking head the moment they get an opportunity to. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. I mean, we got all types of lawyers. Jonathan Turley out there, Alan Dershowitz, Andrew McCarthy saying this latest indictment is a bunch of nonsense. The left doesn't care. They don't care about the rule of law. They care about remaking the law in the way that they want so that they can fundamentally transform America, so that they can put Donald Trump in jail before he gets to jail them. And then they can throw the rest of us, if we won't bow down, if we won't go to their re-education camps, they'll either shoot us if we don't comply or God knows what. This is who we're dealing with. Here's our last clip. Actually, go ahead. We'll just roll about a minute of this. More Democrats denying an election result, starting with Hillary Clinton. This is from whom? I'm not sure who we got this from, but I believe it's on YouTube. But 12 minutes of Democrats denying election results. Let's roll a minute or two of this, Gabe, and we'll close this out.
That's a real
what I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
I have an objection.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina. I object because people are horrified.
He's an illegitimate president.
Do you?
All right, you've seen some of these other ones, so we'll cut it off there. But I wanted you to see some of the bigger names, the Hillary Clintons, the Joe Biden, the Kamala Harris, and their election denial. But guys, just understand where we're at. These people absolutely want to kill us. These are totally hoax charges. Every credible lawyer, I mean, again, Andrew McCarthy, Alan Dershowitz, a Democrat, Jonathan Turley, a Democrat, that are saying they have no basis to bring the current charges that they're bringing. They have to totally eliminate the concept of free speech in order to bring these charges. There's a couple of headlines that, man, of course, my laptop is freezing at this point. But anyway, they were on Just the News, but just different headlines that indicated these people know that these charges are bogus. The left absolutely knows it. They're inventing new law as we go in order to try to criminalize and convict Donald Trump. And guys, we have to stand up. We have to speak out against this. And it isn't just in our circles. We can yell and moan all day. If we don't convince someone, they're being called, I think, the normie norms today. If we don't convince someone outside of our political sphere, someone that may be a moderate, someone that may be persuadable, man, this is what's happening. And don't make it just a Trump issue or DeSantis issue. They may not be able to stand Trump. They may not be able to stand DeSantis. So you're going to have to learn to speak in words and language, and in a language that persuades them to our side based upon argument, that persuades them to our side based upon the love of the Constitution and this country and freedom and free speech. You're going to have to be able to do that. And then once you can do that, you say, this is my guy. This is the guy that can help bring this back, whether it's Trump, whether it's DeSantis, likely Trump at this point, or this is what they're doing to him. Explain it. Don't make it just a Trump better get in office scenario. Explain what's happening. I'm telling you, people, I don't mean to sound condescending, but We're foolish to believe that everyone is so absorbed into politics like we are. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I'm sorry it wasn't the normal uppity up type podcast, but I just wanted to bring the truth to you. That's the way that I intend to do it. That's the way that I've always done it and have been known to do it in the past. I will continue to do just that. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition. Again, please follow me on all things social media at The Carl Jackson Show, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, social media. Also, you can subscribe to the podcast. All right, everywhere you go to get your podcasts. Until next time, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.